There comes a moment when silence speaks louder than screams. When you stop explaining, stop defending, stop trying to make them understand. That's the moment you become untouchable. Because the real power isn't in how loud you react, it's in how quietly you rise. And that's exactly what this is, about turning the pain they caused into a kind of strength that confuses them, haunts them, and redefines you. Everyone who's ever been betrayed knows that pain, the sharp twist in your chest when someone you trusted becomes a stranger. The world stops making sense. You replay every word, every look, maybe it's my fault, but it's not. And deep down, you already know that. Section 1, the psychology of pain and power. When someone hurts you, the natural instinct is to react, to demand answers, closure, or justice. The mind wants control. The ego wants balance. But reacting emotionally gives them both what they crave most, your energy. See, when people cause emotional damage, they often feed on reaction. They want to know they still matter. They want proof that they still control your emotions. Every tear, every desperate message, every late-night thought, it's power you're giving away without realizing it. Psychology calls it intermittent reinforcement. It's when your emotions get trained by inconsistency. They treat you with affection one moment and distance the next, keeping your nervous system addicted to their attention. You start chasing the high of being valued again, not realizing you're running in circles around their silence. But the real shift begins when you decide to step off that emotional treadmill. When you realize that the most powerful response isn't reaction, it's indifference. Because indifference starves control. Section 2, the calm that confuses them. Here's what most people never expect. Silence is communication. It says, I see everything. I just don't need to respond. And that calmness, that unbothered stillness, it unsettles them more than anger ever could. It's not revenge. It's clarity. When you stay silent, you stop playing the emotional chess game they built. You step off the board entirely. Imagine this. They try to trigger you with distance, guilt, or manipulation. But instead of reacting, you give them nothing, no explanation. No defense, no argument. Just presence. Calm, focused, detached presence. That's not weakness, that's psychological control. Because calmness, especially after chaos, is intimidating. They don't understand how you can stay so grounded while they try to provoke you. And the truth is, most can't. But the ones who can, they change everything. Section 3, the shift from reaction to reflection. Let's be honest. Healing doesn't start with pretending you don't care. It starts with accepting what happened and choosing to see it as information, not identity. They showed you their truth. Your job isn't to fix it, it's to learn from it. Instead of asking, why did they do this to me? Ask, what did this teach me about boundaries, energy, and self-worth? Because the moment you shift from emotion to observation, the pain stops owning you. You stop being a participant in their chaos and become the analyst of your own growth. That's emotional intelligence. That's the real power. Section 4, the aura of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean coldness. It means clarity. It's the ability to observe without absorbing, to look at what happened without letting it poison your peace. People often confuse emotional control with apathy. It's not the same. Control says, I care, but I care about myself more. When you master that mindset, you walk differently. You speak differently. Your silence becomes magnetic. They start wondering what changed, why you're no longer reacting, and whether they ever truly knew you at all. That confusion? It's the mirror of their own behavior. They once made you feel unseen, now they feel invisible, and you didn't have to do anything except stop feeding their ego. Section 5, the rise of inner authority. At some point, you realize that their approval isn't the reward you thought it was. The real reward is your peace returning, the ability to wake up without the weight of wondering what they're thinking. That's freedom. That's what emotional self-respect looks like in practice. And once you taste that peace, you won't chase anyone again. You'll stop explaining your worth to people committed to misunderstanding it. You'll stop defending yourself to people who already decided what they wanted to believe. Because once you stop needing validation from the one who broke you, they lose their grip forever. That's the moment they start to notice the shift. The messages get shorter, the tone changes, the attention fades. But instead of hurting, you'll feel something new, relief. Because deep down, you know this time, you're the one who walked away first. Section 6, the psychology of confusion and control. Here's what they never tell you. Silence is not emptiness. It's strategy. When you stop responding, you create space, and in that space, their mind starts to turn on itself. Every question they once made you ask, why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Now echoes inside them. See, silence makes people confront what noise helped them ignore. Your absence forces them to meet their own reflection, and most can't stand what they see. They'll wonder why you're not chasing, why you're not fighting to be understood. Because they expected chaos, not calm. They expected drama, not detachment. And when you give them calm detachment instead, it rewires the entire dynamic. You were once the emotional one. Now, they're the one overthinking, replaying, doubting, questioning. You didn't manipulate them, you just stopped feeding the game. That's the quiet kind of revenge no one talks about. Letting peace do what pride never could. Section 7, the distance that redefines power. Distance is not punishment, it's protection. When you create distance, you reclaim space for your thoughts, your emotions, your identity. Because closeness with someone who disrespects your energy isn't intimacy, it's self-betrayal. The truth is, they never expected you to pull away fully. They thought you'd bend, tolerate, forgive endlessly, but then you disappeared. No argument, no announcement, just vanished with composure. And that silence, it hits harder than any confrontation ever could. Because it says, I don't need to prove my value anymore. I'm done trying to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding me. I've outgrown this entire conversation. Distance creates scarcity, and scarcity builds value. The less accessible your energy becomes, the more they realize how rare it actually was. But this isn't about making them miss you. It's about making yourself whole again. Because when you stop fighting to be seen, you finally start seeing yourself. Section 8, the transformation within. Let's get brutally honest. Pain will either harden you or awaken you. And the difference lies in one decision. Do you use it to build walls or wisdom? When someone breaks your trust, it's easy to build walls so high that no one can reach you again. But true strength isn't about isolation. It's about evolution. Walls keep everyone out. Healing lets the right energy in. And healing begins when you realize they didn't break your worth. They revealed where it was misplaced. Every betrayal is data. Every disappointment is feedback. It's the universe showing you who's aligned and who's not. And once you interpret pain as information, it loses its ability to control you. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? You start saying, this happened for me? That's not denial. That's emotional mastery. Because you're not here to stay broken. You're here to turn pain into precision. Section 9, how power really feels. Real power doesn't roar, it hums quietly under your skin. It's the calm in your voice when others expect anger. It's the smile that says, I'm not hurt, unhealed. It's the ability to wish them well and still walk away without looking back. When you reach that level of peace, they'll try to pull you back into their chaos. Not because they miss you, but because your peace exposes their lack of it. And that's the irony. They once thought they could break you, but now your silence breaks them. You don't have to teach them a lesson. Life will do that. All you have to do is keep moving forward, quietly, gracefully, unbothered. Because the real win is not proving your worth. It's living in a way that makes their loss undeniable. Section 10, mirror their energy, master yourself. Mirroring isn't about copying their actions. It's about reclaiming your balance. They withdrew, you withdraw your energy too. They stopped valuing communication, you stop explaining yourself. They disappeared, you appear where your peace grows. That's emotional alignment, not revenge. See, when you start moving with intention instead of impulse, everything changes. Your focus shifts from, how could they do this to me? To, What does this say about my boundaries? You stop trying to control outcomes and start controlling input, your effort, your energy, your presence. And when you get disciplined about those things, no one can manipulate you again. Section 11. Emotional control, the ultimate power move. The strongest person isn't the one who never feels pain. It's the one who doesn't act on every emotion. Control doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you choose when, how, and if to respond. That's emotional discipline. That's power disguised as peace. When you stop letting your emotions lead your decisions, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Because once they can't predict your reactions, they lose control of the narrative. Your silence becomes their confusion. Your distance becomes their anxiety. Your self-respect becomes their wake-up call. And the best part? You don't even need to say a word. Section 12, turning the page without closure. Here's the hardest truth. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you deciding the story ends here. You don't need their apology. You don't need their validation. You don't even need them to understand. You just need to accept that not everything broken deserves fixing, and not everyone who hurt you deserves access to your healed version. Forgiveness isn't about letting them back in. It's about setting yourself free from the emotional debt they left behind. You forgive so that their memory loses power, not because they earned it, but because you did. And once you close that chapter with peace instead of bitterness, something beautiful happens. You stop waiting for karma. You become it. Section 13, the crown moment. One day, they'll look for the version of you who used to care so much. They'll scroll through old messages, replay old memories, and wonder how you became so composed, so distant, so untouchable. And the truth is, that version of you didn't die, they evolved. You didn't stop loving, you started respecting yourself more. You didn't stop caring, you just learned who deserves your care. You didn't become colder, you became clearer. And when you finally walk away, not with hate, but with calm certainty, they'll realize something they can never unsee. They lost someone who would have done anything for them, and gained silence they can never break. That's not revenge. That's evolution. That's closure without words. So if they hurt you, don't fight for explanations. Don't chase, don't prove, don't beg. Move differently. Let silence speak. Let distance define your worth. Let calmness confuse them. Because your peace will always be louder than your pain. And the moment you realize that, you stop trying to make them regret losing you. You start making yourself proud for never losing yourself. That's the real power move. That's how you win, quietly, completely, and forever.